my gosh, there's just madness at my house this morning. This really isn't the time and the place. Oh my gosh, Erithe. I mean, I could kick you out. Anyway, let's just continue on, even with the chooks here, because I've left my door open. Or I've got a really sticky door latch, and I thought I had it closed, and it has a way of opening itself back up. I've got to fix it. It's one of 1,000 million jobs I've got here, as you all know. Oh gosh, this Venus, she's happy here. I'll just leave her here for now. She's good energy, and you know what? She's making this my arm feel better, because if you follow me on Instagram, I'm going to get into that before I get into the main impetus of this video. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you, because I've got this lavalier mic thing on. I've not used it before. I'm hoping the sound comes through. But yeah, so anyway, just to keep you guys up to speed, I've got an elbow injury, and if you follow me on Patreon, I've shared more detail about it, but I've had this lump in this elbow for a couple of months, and I've worked through it, I've pushed through it, because it hasn't been painful until now. It's painful now, and my elbow is at the point where it's squeaking when I move it, and it feels weird. And hey, could be an alien implant, who would know with me, but I don't know. I haven't had any indication to allow me to think that anything strange has happened, because as a lot of you know, I haven't had any communication, or I haven't had any experiences for a long time, and if I have, I am not consciously aware of them. Nothing like between 2010 and 2012. My God, like those experiences I've had made me sick, physically sick. So anyway, this elbow, I assume it's something much more down to earth. I suspect that it's me taking on a lot of heavy work. I'm lifting buckets of cement, rock upstairs, and maybe this arm has just had enough of it for a little time, I'm hoping, because I've got so much work to do. Do you see that behind me right there? There? That is my new, old French antique sofa, and it's gorgeous. It's only since I've pulled it apart that I've realized of the top quality of the craftsmanship. And a lot of French sofas back in the 40s, because this was made in 1941 on Valentine's Day. And the reason I know that is because the guy that made it signed his name and the date. And oh my gosh, it's just, I feel so lucky. I feel so lucky that I got a lounge that was made on this date. And with a lot of old lounges, they used to use copper springs. You don't ever see copper springs in just, you know, like basic furniture anymore. And this whole lounge, excuse me, this whole lounge is made of copper springs. Are you gonna hop off here? Can we get down for a little bit? Pretty please? Come on. Okay. Oh, finally got her off. Good. Thank you, Venus. You can go now and lay your egg. She's had some hugs. So this copper lounge, this lounge has been made with copper springs, and um, I read up about it, and you just don't find them with copper springs anymore. And if you do, um, you're paying for it, like you really pay for it. So I love the craftsmanship. It's so well made. I'm finding all these like whoever owned this, I'm finding all these lolly wrappers and um, all these things that have been shoved down, obviously, in the cushions like years and years ago. I've never heard of these brands. Some aren't even in English. So, oh my gosh, it's been an experience, but it's been a massive job, and my floor is an absolute tip. It's so, oh my gosh, I've got stuff everywhere. It's a big job, and I'm learning as I go along. So a lot of DIY YouTube videos, watching how these craftsmen reupholster a sofa, and I'm just learning from them. So I really don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying. So I've been doing that, and I'll get into that again today. And I'm up to the point where, if you know anything about it, I'm retying the spring. So I've put the webbing down. I think it's on a video on Patreon what I'm doing. I'm not sure. And I'm tying the string. So that's kind of minimal work. It's not really affecting this arm. The problem with this elbow is that I had so much pain here. It started coming up to the shoulder blade area, like that cuff back piece of my shoulder plate. I don't know what it is, but when I breathe in like that, I've got a real sharp pain in my heart area, and it's only when I breathe in like that, and it's when I've lied down, like laying down at nights. Oh my gosh, sometimes I feel like, I must be having a heart attack, because I'm not having a heart attack, obviously, but it's every time I breathe in, it's a real sharp pain, and it almost feels like a cracked rib or something. So, it's, oh my gosh, it's really what I don't need, because I'm work. I'm working so much, and an injury is just slowing me down, and it's so inconvenient. But that's the problem, is I should have probably stopped beforehand, before it got to this stage. So last week I went to the doctor. She gave me a referral for an x-ray. I went and had the x-ray yesterday. If you follow me at my Instagram at Elnor Gardens, you will see my little x-ray, or me sitting in the x-ray or the radiology place to get an x-ray. Because, sorry, my nose is running. Because I am no longer on my Andulairah Instagram. I've deleted that for now. Because of, you know what? And this is the thing, like, I know being public, you are not only meeting fantastic people, you're also getting people that, I don't know, are bored. I don't know what it is, but I've had this one person that will not leave me alone. I've blocked them multiple times, and I'm getting like 10 messages a day. It's just like random shit, and I'm just like, you know what, this is ridiculous, and I don't love my Instagram account enough to keep it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to post at my Elnor Gardens one. They don't follow me there. And I've detached, like, if you've not noticed, I've separated now. You can't find my Elnor Gardens Instagram on Andulairah, because I no longer have the link, and I no longer have the Andulairah Instagram, because it's just ridiculous. Like, don't people get it? Of course I don't mind people sending me messages on Instagram. One is enough though, and I'll get back to you when I've got time, But this is ridiculous. This is like 10 messages, like, constantly, like, and it's all in a hit, and trying to video chat me all the time, and it just pissed me off, and I don't love my Instagram account enough to keep it, and I would block them. They'd make new accounts, and I just got tired. I got tired of it. So I'm sorry to you guys that love me and support me and are considerate of my space. But there are just some people that don't have that filter. There are. There are. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm hoping the sound is okay. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Thank you. I'm glad the sound is good. So anyway, I want to kind of move on to, sorry, it is so cold here. My hands are freezing and my nose is like, it's like running like a flood. I should have had my hanky here, but I don't have my hanky. I got distracted with the chooks. Do you even see how I've got this lounge? It's on chairs. Do you see that? Oh gosh, everything's just so avant-garde. My whole, reconstructive technique is just so left. It's just so crazy. But that's me. I do what I can with what I've got. So, hello. I'm seeing you guys. Hi there. Hi, Mai. Hi, Christine. Oh my God, Mamash and... Oh, hello, Mamash. You've got the star of the show. It was Venus, yeah. Hi, Johnny. Hi, Christine. Thank you. I'm glad. Hi, Claudia. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Maria. Ahmed. Ahlan. Shahbadik. Hi, Ave. Hi, Marcellus. Oh, Marcellus is saying, hello, Andulairah. I recently had a fall off a ladder. Oh my God, 12 feet, fractured 2 ribs and fractured a lumbar vertebra. Oh my God. Oh, I feel your pain, you poor thing. I mean, obviously I didn't fall off a ladder, but I've definitely been close. But I feel it. It's hard. Oh, you poor thing. I send you quick healy vibes. Oh, hi, Joey. Gosh, people are creepy. You know it. They are. You know what? And it only takes one to spoil it for everybody else. And like I said, I apologize for everybody else that's just so supportive, so loving, so beautiful. And you got my back. But there are just some that don't get it. And I've had a couple. You know that I've had a couple in my time. But this has been the most recent one, and it is just so off-putting, and it's so irritating. And they say, oh, ignore it, block it. How many times do you have to block someone? And then they make a completely different name, profile picture, and it happens all over again. And I just got sick of it. And I'm like, you know what? I've already got a couple of Instagram accounts. I'll just use my Elnor Gardens one and post on there. But it is kind of more garden orientated, so if you're not into gardening like I am, then don't follow it. But if you want recent updates about what I'm doing, follow Elnor Gardens, and the link, I don't know if the link's in here, but the link is somewhere. I'll add it after. But it's just it's just one just can spoil it for so many. And how much of it do you have to tolerate, basically? And it's annoying. And so anyone that's public totally gets it, because I know there's been some people online that have struggled with, it only takes one, not even 10, people. One person can just spoil it for everybody else. Hi, Laura. Hi, Freely Burning. Sending healing energies your way. Oh, thanks so much. Laura says your home's looking beautiful. Honey, are you kidding? I've got stuff everywhere. My God, you should see this floor. Oh God, it's such a mess right now. It really is. And I'm trying to finish the wall decor. I've got 100 pictures to put up. I'm trying to finish my Maghreb screening. Oh my gosh. But it's coming along. It is coming along. Hi, Slavic Devil. When will you get your results of your x-ray back? Well, I've got a doctor's appointment next Thursday. So apparently the results have been, they don't give you copies anymore. Apparently the results have been sent straight back to my doctor. So next Thursday we'll find out what's going on. But I mean, whatever's happening, it's not good, because it's stopping me from doing my work, and I've got so much work to do. I don't want to stop. It's only me out here. If I stop, everything else stops. And it's winter. It's the best time to get heavy work done, because in the summer, no, it's so hard. It's just hard and it's hot. It's too difficult to do all this heavy stuff when it's hot. So I'm trying to get as much done in the winter. Laura says, is it cold there? Yes, it is freezing. It's freezing right now. So anyway, I want to get into what I want to talk about. I'm not going to do a long video today because I've got to do things. But in this time, there is so much strangeness happening on the planet. There's a lot of things going on, and people, and I'm seeing it on emails. I'm getting your emails, and there's been several people that have kind of talked about the same thing, which is feeling a lack of control about the situation, particularly, this whole global situation. People more than ever now feeling a lack of control for their lives and creating a life that they want, because they feel, at least one guy wrote that he feels he can no longer make choices for himself because it's already decided for him, and his life has kind of been already orchestrated, or rules have already been set in place because of what is already happening in the world. But I'm going to say, and it's probably going to be so left field of everything that you're feeling, you create the reality that you want to see in the world, and it does not matter what is happening anywhere else in the world. It does not matter. If you don't want to be a part of that, if you're not liking what you're seeing in the world, you do not need to participate in that. You do not need to focus your energy on that. All you need to do is shift more into the reality that you want to see. So how do you do that? How do you separate yourself from what is happening in the world? You stop watching it, you stop seeing it, you stop listening to it, you stop thinking about it. And as soon as you do that, upon immediate effect, your vibratory field, your frequency shifts. Everything changes according to how you feel. So as soon as you shift your energy and focus upon other things, there is only one way that energy can go, and it's going to flow wherever you take it. So if you decide to take it to a heavy, dark place, it's going to shift in that direction. However, if you say, you know what, no, I don't want that. I want to dream about birds and bees. I want to dream that I'm in a bed of flowers sleeping. I want to, create an abundant, enriching, healthy, perfect, beautiful world. Then you can do that. And it starts with your emotional framework that you have in place. That is the only way that the energy can follow. As soon as you put that emotional framework down, you are completely changing the vibratory field that surrounds you. It's as simple as that. Although it may be complicated to do. Oh my gosh. Venus! Oh, honey. Oh God, Venus is coming. So we'll just ignore her. So what I'm saying is that it does not matter. Circumstances, this is another one of those golden rules. Circumstances do not matter. Only a state of being matters. So that means whatever is happening around you, you don't need to be a part of, you don't need to pay attention to. It only matters, and the most important thing is how you feel. You could be in a complete active war zone, and you can feel so blessed and so lucky for being able to breathe another breath and to wake up in the morning, have a drink of water, have a piece of bread. You may feel so lucky to still be alive. So it's all a matter of outlook. On the flip side, you could be someone that's like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. How can this ever change? And oh my gosh, we've got no food, we've got no money, and in a state of fear. And you're only going to attract more of what you don't want. But the more you focus on the blessings and the love and the good things happening and believing that abundance flows where good energy goes, you're going to get exactly what you want. And things will miss you. So not only do good things start coming, but it's like a river, and the stronger the river is, the harder it is for it to change course and to get off course. So, it really is all about energy. See, Venus here, for example, this is good energy. She feels good energy from me, so she loves coming here. She loves giving me her good energy. She's giving me some good healing vibes. In fact, the other day, she wanted to sit up on my elbow, on my sore elbow, and I let her for a few minutes until she was getting too weighty. I had to put her back down. So animals are a perfect example of being so intuitive and following where the good energy goes, because no animal or no person is going to go somewhere that doesn't feel good or go somewhere to meet someone they don't like, and if you're doing that, you're only doing yourself a disservice. And so it really comes down to that. Same with jobs. I actually spoke about this on my last Patreon, that if you are going to a job or you're doing something you don't like, you are only doing yourself a disservice. And how many people in the world do you know that are doing that every day, pushing themselves to work, forcing themselves to go to work because they feel like they have to? But the only one putting down those rules and regulations is themselves. You don't have to do anything. And let me tell you here, Venus, Mummy's got a really important statement. Venus! Let me tell you right here, the most important thing, and mark my word, and I mean this, I would rather go broke and hungry than ever work a job that I don't like in my life. Again, like, I would rather go broke and hungry and be free and make my own choices than to be in a job or in a place or in a position that I don't want or don't like. I will never be a slave to somebody else's dream. That'll never happen. So if you're in a job, if you're doing something you don't like, it is only you that's keeping you there. And if you say to yourself, well, I've got kids, I've got a husband, I've got bills, I've got things to pay. When you look at some of these indigenous cultures or people that, like when you go to like places like Afghanistan or, places that don't have financial richness, they are so rich in so many ways, and their families are so big, and they grow food, and they have sources of water, and they make it work. In Africa, like, I love watching some documentaries, like in certain places, like Ethiopia, like real nomadic tribes, and they look like they don't, they financially are not wealthy, but they understand the land so well. They have water, they have food, and they're happy, and they still offer their hospitality. It's got to be the most genuinely generous, beautiful human trait to have. And yet the people that have money and have things and have this wealth feel like they have nothing. And they hold on to their wealth and their money so tight because they fear of not having any of it, and their life will be over if they lose it all. Like, it's so weird. It's so weird, but it's true, because people are made to feel like they cannot live without money. And I'll tell you this, money is somebody else's creation. Earth didn't create money. You know, Earth did not create money. Money is only one form of abundance. And when you realize that, you'll see that abundance comes in so many wonderful ways. Like, for example, I've got this peach tree. Everybody knows about my peach tree. I have the most delicious, juiciest, pink looking, beautiful peaches from this 70-year-old peach tree. I have cut off, because you've got to prune it in the dormant season, which is now in the winter solstice. And I've kept the cuttings, and I'm going to propagate them. And so that's basically going to be another 20 or 30 peach trees. That is fruit, that is food, that is goodness. And it's grown with the light and the radiance from the sun, from the cosmos. That is pure, flawless perfection. And that's richness. That is so rich. And that is abundance. And that is free of charge. It does not cost a thing except for a little bit of time to cut and prune these little cuttings, put some rooting hormone on them. You don't even have to do that. Just stick them in a pot and keep them moist until they start rooting. It is that simple to have abundance. And so we are made to believe that we cannot survive without money. That's part of the conditioning that, you know, this density is living within. And now, you know, with all these events unrolling and happening, people feel more that they are fearing they're going to go without. So I know there was a comment on my last live stream asking me what do I think about the the future food shortages. It hasn't happened yet. We don't want that to come into reality. Who wants that in a timeline? Does anyone want food shortages? I don't think so. So don't focus on what it is that you don't want or what it is that you fear, because the more you fear it, the more you are attracting that into your life. And you're going to have a mentality of scarcity and of, feeling like you are going without. So the bottom line is, you have to be the energetic counterpart of what it is that you want to see in your life. And you have to know you create your reality. Earth is just a medium. Earth is just a medium for these games and these events and these situations and these experiences to play out. So we can learn from this. So we can learn and grow from the contrast. Contrast is a fantastic thing. Contrast as in challenge, as in complications, as in pain, you know. Contrast is our greatest teacher. And you cannot have light without the dark. At least in this reality. And so you take it for what it is. It is a lesson. You didn't come into this unknowingly or unconsciously. It's been all your choice. And you can't blame it on a God. You can't blame it on somebody else. You can't blame it on where you live, your location, nothing. And it's easy to point the finger at someone else, but you should be pointing the finger at yourself, because the way your life has turned out has been all your choice, nobody else's. Even if you are brought into the world in dire situations, it's your choice to it's your choice to determine how it turns out in every way. And you know, people may not find that easy to absorb, but that's the truth of it. We are so much greater than our physical flesh. It's such a constant, consistent, eternal journey. I know the word journey is thrown around a lot these days, but it really is an eternal quest. An eternal quest, and an expression of pure creation. And it is the contrast that makes us more refined and makes us deeper and makes us richer on such a quantum molecular level. So, you know, you are what you are because you made yourself what you are. and nobody else or nothing else is to blame for that. So you can take your control back, being a conscious co-creator, being a conscious creative expression of source energy. So take a deep breath. Oh, I've got pain. I'm wanting to take a deep breath, but I have sharp pain. Oh, breathe through it, breathe through it. It's only an illusion. Oh, gosh. Oh, goodness. Oh, hey, guys. Okay, I'm just reading up through your comments. Banish it in meditation. It helps. It does. Crystal says, that is a good reminder to be mindful of what we focus on and truly practice it more than ever now, because there are certain factions and groups of people around the world that are desiring and are very much trying hard to focus your attention on one thing. And if you're finding that is the case and you don't like it, then whatever you're listening to, whatever you're watching, whoever you're talking to, switch it off. Switch it off. Take your shoes off. Go and walk in some soil. Look at a beautiful flower. Look at the bees. Look at them. They're living without a care in the world. They are so swept up in the moment that is their reality. They are focused on beauty and love, the love frequency of the planet. Oh, goodness. And that is a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. So if you find yourself getting swept up, sweep yourself out and go out in nature, because the truth will be shown to you out in nature. There is nothing fake. There is nothing phony about the flawlessness of nature. That is authentic. That is truth. That is love. And that's why I love gardening so much, because there's so much truth in it. There's so much flawless beauty and so much love and beautiful expressions of creation. You can't own a garden and not be happy. You cannot own a garden and not be a happy person. And this is why, people that suffer from a lot of PTSD, like emotional challenge or conditions, they are encouraged to plant a garden. Go out and plant a garden. Make a garden. Create life, because it is so fulfilling. It is so enriching. It'll change you in so many ways. So go out and plant a garden. I can't tell you how my life has changed. I mean, I've always been a gardener and I've grown up with gardening people, but having my own land, or at least being a custodian of a small parcel of land, borrowing it from Mother Earth, and then nurturing it and feeling her breathing on my land, seeing how happy the animals are. I woke up this morning, I got 2 crows on my fence. I've got about 50 possum birds. I've got 4 pigeons. I had about 10 kangaroos in my paddock, and they're all out there looking at me, and I say good morning to them all. These animals are just happy. They're content, and they have not a care in the world, and they are so presently living in their reality that they are pure forms of expressive creation. And we can learn so much from being in nature and watching this. It's so simple. It's so beautiful. It doesn't have to be so complicated. Good morning, Tomboy. Hi, Psychic Dashton. Oh. Oh, Laura says, my cat always jumps on my lap when I meditate. That is a good sign. Happy cat. Joey says, how is Dima? Thank you for asking. Dima seems to be doing really well right now. And in fact, you know, it was so funny. She is a funny old chook, Dima. When I think she's not feeling well, and I know she hasn't been for the last couple of weeks, but for these this week and last week, I'm noticing more redness. And actually, I'll share that on Patreon because I'm not going to share all the pictures on here, but I've been taking pictures of her because I'm trying to observe her comb and her face, because when I could see she's first of all molting, because I'm seeing a lot of new feathers coming through. Erythe's, oh god, watch out, here comes Erythe. Dima's got a lot of new feathers coming through, and her comb and her face, her jewels and off over here. She's been very pasty white in the face, whereas these chooks, Erythe in particular, she's got a beautiful, healthy red comb. She's red, flush in the face, and Dima's look very white and pasty. And she's got a perfect diet. She's not being fed anything different from what these chooks are. But I believe she must be going through a type of hormonal menopause, chenopause, chicken pause. I don't know what you call it, but I don't know what she's going through. But she seems to be better. And what I was going to say the other day is when I shake the bag, that to them means food, and they're always hangry, I should say. So when this happened, when I shook the bag, no, off the computer. When I shook the bag, all the chooks run, they're all excited, and they run in from the paddock, and they run in through the gate, and they race up to the food bowl. Dima flew, and I mean flew, because chickens, they can flap a little bit, but Dima flew over the damn fence. I mean, this chook just shocks me. I've not seen this chook fly, but she flew over the fence. I don't know where her power came from, but she shocks me so much, this chook. Oh, she flew over the fence, and the other girls ran around the fence. Oh my god. So she couldn't be that sick. If she's flying like that, she's flying like Superman. If she is flying like that, she can't be too sick. And she seems to be on the up. She seems better. And she just likes to be around where I am. And I hear her purring all throughout the day. I went out last night because there's a fox around. I went out last night to look for this fox. And Dima can hear me talking to them through the door of their bed. And she starts purring. She's purring, and she's sleeping, and she's purring. Oh, it's the most heartwarming thing. So yes, I have a fox. It hasn't been coming into the yard in the daytime, but it is around. And have you guys ever heard a female fox? I told you it was a vixen before, clairvoyantly, but I got confirmation, and I have been getting confirmation every night that it is a vixen. A vixen. This sound they make, it's not a bark, it's not a cry, it's not a howl. It honestly sounds like a woman being murdered in a horror movie. It is the most frightening sound. And I looked it up online, and apparently it is the sound a vixen makes when they're looking for a male. It is frightening. And if you don't know what it is and you're out camping, you will get the fright of your life. Because it is terrible. It just, go and have a look. Look up fox calls or fox sounds, and you'll hear it. It sounds like an old woman dying in a ghastly way. It just sounds hideously awful and frightening. And if you're new to camping and you go out when there's foxes around like that, you will get the fright of your life, and you'll probably pack up your tent and go home. It's terrible. Anyway, so this fox was right around my house last night, and the sound just wakes me up. It's hideous. It's awful. Ahmed, أقول لك خلاص يعني with a rugged يعني خلاص. My God, enough. So yes, Jupiter. Jupiter says, oh my god, Venus is freaking my cat out. Oh, that's so funny. Mr. Crumble, he's looking around like, what the fuck? Oh, that's so funny. Hi, 13 Lunar Magic. I'm trying hard to listen, but I'm dying laughing right now. Venus, yes, she's so naughty. Hi, Vanessa. Yeah, truly. True abundance. There is nothing subjective about it, and that I couldn't speak it better myself. Truly, there is nothing subjective about it. It's so honest. It's so genuine. It's so authentic. And living on land and nurturing land, it feels like the most authentic lifestyle. It's so abundant, and all you need to do is plant a seed, and it repays you and rewards you for years and years and years after. How can that not be the correct way of living and existing? That just shows you how unconditional and how unconditionally we are loved by Source Energy. Source Energy wants us to live with so much abundance and so much love and nurturing. How could it be any other way? And yet we're seeing all the contrast in the world, and we're seeing the other ways, and we're seeing how, you know, the control is the other ways, is the contrast. And when you and it's only the more you get into a natural way of life do you realize how much control there really is in the world. A lot of people don't even realize they're in control. That's how crafty and smart this program is. But when you start to pay more attention to nature and you're out in nature, you realize that this is the truth. This is authentic. Living in harmony with planet Earth. For me, there is no other way. There is no other way. And like I said, that's what I mean. You know, you start to, you lose the fear of monetary things. You lose the fear about what's happening in the world. I mean, I've never feared it anyway, but, and I've been so broke on my ass. I mean, I'm pretty much broke all the time now anyway, because I'm feeling all my abundance financially and my time. Well, not, you know, my abundance, if I feel like that's never ending, but I'm talking about financial wealth. I inject so much finance into making this place beautiful that, you know, financially I may be broke on my ass all the time, but I have never been more richer in my life. Does that make sense? I've never been more richer in my life. I feel richer than any time that I was financially wealthy in my life, because I have been around a lot of money, and I feel richer now than I ever did then. I know it may sound strange, but that's the truth. I do. I feel so rich now. So, you know, I may not have much to speak of financially, but I have never felt more richer in my life. So take away my money, I will still feel rich. You know, I have so much here that it's magic. It is pure magic. Uh-oh. Someone's coming up here again. Hi, Joseph. ¿Cómo estás? Tigress in thigh-high boots. That's a great name. Thank you so much, you guys. Laura says, I live in an apartment and I just planted avocado trees in pots I started from seed. Oh, good girl. I've got about 7. I got one plant about this big avocado, and I've got about 7 or 8 seeds. Oh, erythrae. This is erythrae now. I've got 7 or 8 seeds that are in little pots, in containers. Do you see how they all just come in the same spot? This is every day, if the door is open. And if I don't have the door open, or if I don't let them in, they'll whine outside. They want to come in. So see how nice and red her comb is? Dima's is not like that. It's a little bit pasty white. So she's obviously going through her own transition. chicken paws. Oh, gosh. So Norma, I'm trying to read your comment here. Sorry, I'm just missing it. Sounds like the chicken is laughing. Well, they have a real kind of, I feel like I've got a pretty good understanding about chicken noises now. And when they do that little, they really need to lay an egg. They really need to lay an egg. So she's whining because she needs to lay an egg. She's trying to find her spot. She wants me to walk her into the workshop because that's where she'll go and lay. But I'm busy. She likes me to go in and chaperone her into the workshop. I actually had to keep him in the workshop yesterday when I went to get my x-ray because of this fox around. I'm not taking any chances, and so they got locked in there for a few hours. I leave the radio on for them. They had seed, they had water. So there's a bit of shit around the workshop today, but the way I clean it is I let it dry out. So I open up all the doors, let the wind come in, dry it out. Then I can easily pick it up, and then I just wash the floorboard. You don't even need to wash it. You just brush it with a brush and then either vacuum or sweep it, and it's gone. So yeah, not the most glamorous life out here. Feral Gal says, hi sweetheart, you and Summer Rain Oaks and your feather babies. I love it. I love Summer Rain Oaks. I mean, I love her anyway, but I really love her because when you own chooks, they really are they are such a beautiful companion to have. Anyone that owns a pet understands the love that an animal has and the love an animal gives. And while a chook may not be able to wag a tail or appear happy, you know when they are happy when you own one. You start to know their mannerisms, and they're so affectionate. They want to be touched. They want to, you can see how my chickens are. And they will live. I know Summer Rain was saying how a chicken she had was oh gosh, what was the name of the chicken? Oh gosh, Dibby? Oh, I can't remember. But her chook was like 13 years old, and Dima's only 4. So, when I thought Dima was going to Karkat about, a couple months ago, Dima's obviously got some fire in her yet. And now that I know that Dibba, is it Dibba? I can't remember Summer's chicken's name. But when I read how this chook, I think she said it was 13. It may have been another one that was 13. But when they're happy, they will live for a long age. And anyone that thinks that chickens are just chickens and they don't have any personality, it couldn't be more further from the truth. If you have chickens in a pen and they're constantly in a pen, how could you ever get to know them? When you let them run free, roam free, I think the biggest disservice you could do for a chicken or a bird is to have it in a cage. I mean, the whole purpose of a bird being a bird is so it can fly and roam free. So, I feel like that's the biggest contradiction about having a bird is keeping it in a cage. And I'm telling you, if you rear a bird without being in a cage, except for when at night, like sleeping, because they like to feel secure at night, and if you let it roam free during the day, this bird will never leave you. And so everyone thinks if you don't keep a bird in a cage, they'll fly away. Even if they fly away, they will always come back. When I had my baby magpie Moggy, I never reared him in a cage. And once he could fly, he was going through his teenage time. Once he could fly, he would be gone for a couple of hours and he would always fly home, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day. Even one time I went to the swimming pool. That bird flew down there and came to the swimming pool. And when I was leaving, he came home. Even one time I went up to the pub to go and eat dinner. Moggy came too. Moggy flew up to the pub And and then he would be there, and I would get texts and calls from people saying, "Oh, Moggy's over here. You want to come and get him?" Or, "Oh my God, it's just hilarious. He's just the most beautiful bird." And so when you keep them out of cages, they won't want to leave you because you're, their family, and they like to stick together. And if they leave you, let them go. Let them go. Let them go. They're on their own little journey. Thank you, Freely Burning. She's injured. Ahmed, chill. That's right. Just chill. Jupiter says, yes, I hear the vixens every night. Oh my God, go. That's one of the crows. Yeah, foxes. Yeah, I love being surrounded in wilderness. Tomboy says, I planted my tomatoes in grow bags a couple weeks ago, and they're 2.5 inches already. Fastest my tomatoes ever grew. Oh girl, you're gonna have some beauties. I actually have some winter tomatoes that have come up. I've picked them just before they're ripe because I've had some bugs, like worms, getting in them. And they've just come up. I obviously threw tomato seeds out there when I put compost out and food scraps. These have just come up wild on their own. They are the most delicious, sweet, salty tasting tomatoes. They are so good. And that's what I mean. Give nature a chance and it'll just come up crazy everywhere. Joey says, all right, Andulairah, give him a short dance so he can stop. No, totally not in the mood for dancing. Ferrogas says, we can grow gardens inside our homes if we are in apartments. It is fun and surprisingly helpful to have fresh herbs. Greens or sprouts right there for pennies. Yeah, and really it is. It's so easy to grow. Anyone can grow. Kids can grow a garden. In fact, when I was growing up at school, we were told to bring in a certain plant or grow one from seed and bring it in, have it on our desk. Hi, Jasmine. I spent some time researching gardening today. I'm a long way from planting. Oh, honey, all you have to do is get one little seed, drop it in the soil, keep the soil moist. Just water it, every couple of days, or when the soil is looking a little dry. That's all you have to do. There's no complication to it. There's no science to it. That's all you need to do. Just create the right environment for the seed to germinate, and you've got it. And that's it. Hey, Angry Birds. Hello, my lovely. Jasmine says, those chickens are spoiled. I love it. Please come with me to lay my eggs. Ah, yeah, that's how they are. Tomboy says, not broke, temporarily out of cash. Yes, that's another way of saying it. Angry Bird says, I planted some sunflowers and they're blooming in my room. Oh my gosh. With no direct sunlight. And that just shows you the resilience of nature. Even if they're in difficult conditions, they still try their best to thrive and do what it is that they do, which is to be beautiful. And they don't do it for us. Actually, on my Daily Cosmos page, I put some quotes and things that I attach with like pictures of space that I love so much. Plants are not beautiful or pleasing to the eye for us. They do it for themselves because they love themselves so much. They love their position in this creative vortex of expression. They do it because they understand the language of that source energy. They understand the love that governs their existence. And so they want to live while they're here in physical to the best of their ability. So they do it for themselves. And you only have to be next to a flower or a plant. And I mean, I feel the love frequency. Like if you were living up somewhere, like in those huge, beautiful redwood forests like them sequoia redwoods, I think they call them, you would feel like someone is watching you all the time. I know I would, because those trees have such a mystical presence about them. They're so deeply rooted in the ground. They're so tall. They've been there for thousands of years. Imagine the wisdom and the energies they have absorbed over that time. That is a place where you should go if you want to have some healing and some rebalancing in your life, is with those redwoods. Jupiter says, I love the way you say honey. Ah. Feral Gal says, do you have thrift stores in your area? I couldn't have much of anything if it weren't for getting things secondhand. Honey, most of my things here are secondhand. These lounges, these high quality French lounges were $100 each. Like, I could never. I mean, I love those Chesterfield sofas, like in velvet or whatever. They are so expensive. Any new loungers are so expensive, and it's not just that they're expensive. The cost of trying to get them here, where I am in an isolated location, is almost as expensive as the lounges themselves. And I love antiquity. I love antiques. Why would I not get a beautiful crafted French sofa like this and reinfuse the love that was once put in it? Why not put it back into it? Because these poor old lounges were sitting in this old shed. They're all so dusty and crap piled all up over them. Of course they're going to look bad and awful, but all they need is a bit of love, a bit of attention and care, and they will be more beautiful than they ever were before. And I feel so confirmed with my decision of when I saw the guy who was obviously very proud of his work and takes very much pride in his craftsmanship, to sign his name on Valentine's Day and seeing the copper springs. It's beautiful. I feel like it's just meant to be. So I feel so lucky to reuse something. So I don't know if you'd call an antique store a thrift store, but you would not get these lounges for cheaper than $100. And why would I? And not only that, but you can't see it in the video, but they also came with 2 club sofas. So I've got 2 of them down in the workshop, and I've got 2 up here. So I'm going to reupholster them and probably put them down in my cellar, because I've been busy in my cellar until this elbow. So yeah. Katarina says, plants always tell us if they're happy. They do. They absolutely do. Jasmine says, I'm so encouraged about the gardening. Raccoons, armadillos, cats, kittens, gophers, possums. Do I need an enclosure? It depends. It depends on what you plant, because if the plants that you're growing are tasty and animals like them, you may need to put a guard, like a guard around. But it depends on what it is. Some animals, some plants are toxic to animals, so it's good to read up on first what you're going to grow. Like I make a real diligent effort to plant non-toxic plants in my environment. In fact, I'll never, as much as I love the look of foxglove, I would never put that on my property, because my chickens are here, and not just them, but other animals. They may not be toxic to, I don't even know if they are. I don't exactly know what animals they're toxic to, but they are a highly toxic plant, no matter how beautiful they are. Hellebores, highly toxic. I just wouldn't plant these things, because even if there are kids visiting here and they pick at the leaf, and the juices and the sap of a foxglove gets on their fingers, and then they put their fingers in their mouth, they'll be sick. It's a highly toxic plant. So I'm very mindful of the plants that I get, so they're non-toxic. And I don't like working with toxic plants, so I don't want to be touching toxic plants. So, there are plants that are deadly. Foxglove is one of them. There's plenty more from the Solanum family, the nightshade family. Tomatoes are a part of the nightshade shade family, but only the plants themselves are toxic, not the actual fruit. So, be mindful of what it is that you're planting and let nature do the rest. Hi, Alex. Could you please share the story of how you ended up with this hand tattoo? Well, it was kind of a decision that I had thought about for a while. There really is no plan to it, but I lived in the Middle East for 8 years, and when you live in the Middle East, you'll know that there are these henna salons that are devoted to henna, painted and put all over your body. And I loved it so much that I knew when I was returning back to the Western world that there are no henna salons, and so I decided to get it permanently put on my skin. And that's really all there is to it, is that I like the look of it, and it's a part of my history, so I wanted to have it with me. And so that's it. That's all there is to it, but it was a long process, and I got it done in Thailand. So anyway, I think it's time that I go now, because I hear my roses calling out my name. I especially hear my chickens calling out my name. And I really want to go out, and I've got some things I need to plant. I've got some peonies, actually. 4 peonies that I'm going to plant up near the stone wall, because they love frost. Can you believe it? I'm so happy about that. And I've got some of these peach cuttings I have to process. I've got rose seeds I need to plant out because they've got shoots on them. And I've got about 200 rose cuttings that need to go now in the ground because they've calloused. So I've got a little bit of busy gardening to do, light work. And then later I will come in and do some restringing of these copper springs. So that's going to be my day, and really trying to take the weight off this arm, because obviously my body is letting me know it's not happy in that area, and there's no point in me trying to push through it and ignore the symptoms and the pain. And so I need to just be gentle and nurture it and be patient, and hopefully it will heal itself on its own without any kind of invasive surgery or anything of that nature. So anyway, you guys, control starts within. And I don't even like the word control, but if you want to take your control back, if you want to refocus your focus, then it starts with you. And know that there is no there is no experience around you that is out of your control. What I was going to say is everything is subjective. And you are the captain of your own ship. There is nobody else that can tell you how to live unless you let them. So the way you live your life, the way your life turns out, is your choice. And so if you're not liking something, if something doesn't feel right, you are within your right and within your power to change it. And you can create that beautiful reality. There's nothing stopping you from having exactly what you want and creating the reality that you want. Nothing. No virus, no pandemic, no war, no nothing. There is no event, unless you believe it, that can stop you from creating the reality that you want. I love you guys, and may you always be blessed by the supreme love and truth of the cosmos, as always. Love you.